In the haunted halls of Harrenhal, demon, Matt Smith, continues to see the ghosts of the girl he once knew. He dreams he's in the throne room of the Red Keep, walking toward the Iron Throne just as his descendant Daenerys Targaryen will in the centuries to come. He finds another Targaryen queen, a young Rhaenyra, a returning Millie Alcock, accusing him of treason in their mother tongue. "You created me, demon. Yet, you are now set on destroying me," she says in Valyrian as he begs her to stop. "All because your brother loved me more than he did you." In a fury, Demon slices Dream Rhaenyra's head off, but as Viserys' crown clanks to the ground, her decapitated head creepily asks, "This is what you always wanted, is it not?" As Demon wakes from his nightmare, he imagines blood on his hand before it disappears. Whatever is going on in Harrenhal, it's getting to the normally fearsome warrior. He seems out of sorts when he meets young Oscar Tully, heir to Riverrun and grandson to the ailing Grover Tully. The Sesame Street names are a joke carried over from the book. After suggesting Oscar place a pillow over his grandsire's face so he can take over, Demon says House Tully is a fish with no head, and demands to see Rhaenyra's loyalists in House Blackwood. He might have Harrenhal, but he has no forces save a dragon, and he needs men of action. But the curse of the castle continues to prey on his mind. After another nightmare, he stumbles upon Alice Rivers, Gale Rankin. Alice is a bastard of House Strong and brews Demon a sleeping draught, but after witnessing her many witchy ways, he looks at the cup doubtfully. Before he drinks, time shifts suddenly, and he's in a meeting with Sir William Blackwood, who is pledging his allegiance to Rhaenyra. Demon tries to get his bearings, but sees a vision of his dead wife, Lena, serving as cupbearer. The curse of Harrenhal might be driving him mad. Rhaenyra goes missing on the eve of war. On Driftmark, Rhaenys meets Alan of Hull, Abubakar Salim, to thank him for saving Corlys' life, but has ulterior motives. Noticing the younger man's resemblance to her husband, she cradles Alan's face and says with deep sorrow, "Your mother must have been very beautiful." When Corlys, Steve Toussaint, interrupts the awkward encounter and dismisses Alan, she snaps, "I know who he is, Corlys." Corlys finally returns to the small council after hearing how rudderless it has become in Rhaenyra's mysterious absence. The querulous Sir Alfred Broom, Jaime Kenna, chafed at Rhaenys acting as if she was Hand of the Queen, even though she's wiser than anyone else on the council. Corlys reads the other lords the riot act, but it takes over half the episode before Rhaenyra returns and admits she went to see Alicent, Olivia Cook, in King's Landing. Jace, Harry Collett, reacts to this information with enough sullen fury to make Jon Snow, who he resembles, proud. Rhaenyra explains, "I inherited 80 years of peace from my father. Before I ended it, I needed to know there was no other path. There is no way forward now but war." Echoing something Cersei Lannister once said to Ned Stark, Rhaenyra knows in this Game of Thrones, she either wins or she dies. She tells the council with a new sense of resoluteness that there are those that have mistaken my caution for weakness. Let that be their undoing. Since Ser Criston Cole, Fabian Frankel, is on the march with the Green's forces to Rook's Rest across the narrow channel from Dragonstone, they must strike. Rhaenyra and Jace argue over which of them will ride on Dragonback to battle, but in the end, Rhaenys volunteers, since both she and Meleys are battle-tested. Her husband watches as she leaves, uneasy with the task she's taken. In the caverns of Dragonstone, Rhaenys emerges armored and crowned like a Targaryen of old. She nuzzles her head into Meleys and whispers in Valyrian, "We're off to battle again, old girl." Ser Criston the Kingmaker. Before heading to Rook's Rest, Ser Criston the Worst has been rampaging through the Crownlands, capturing Rosby and Stokeworth, and beheading Lord Gunthor Darklyn at Duskendale for failing to bend the knee to King Aegon II. His forces have grown. So has his reputation as Kingmaker, but not everyone is so impressed. Before his death, Lord Darklyn spits on the cocky knight saying, "You are not fit for the White Cloak." Aegon II, Tom Glencarny, who is weirdly sympathetic in a way Joffrey Baratheon never achieved, isn't so thrilled to hear that Demon has taken Harrenhal, which is his Master of Whisper's very own holdfast. Lares, Matthew Needham, claims this isn't an issue, since the castle will drive Demon mad. From what we have seen so far, he might be right. Things get worse when the insecure king hears that the small folk are calling Ser Criston the Kingmaker, and that his hand has been plotting with his brother Emond, Ewan Mitchell, over battle strategies. He and Emond fight over the wisdom of claiming Rook's Rest over Harrenhal, with Emond disdainfully dressing his brother down in perfect Valyrian. Aegon must have slept through his Valyrian lessons, because he can barely get out a clear sentence in response. He does know the Valyrian word for war, but that might be the first word a Targaryen ever learns. He sulks off, but finds no comfort from his mother Alicent, who has gotten herself knocked up by Ser Criston and has spent the episode dealing with the effects of a Moon Tea-induced abortion. As she holds heated stones to her belly to provide relief, she searches Viserys' books for proof of his thinking about the succession. During a tense conversation with Ser Larys, she admits that whatever her husband's intention was, it died with him. However, she still has to deal with the idiot she might have mistakenly put on the throne. When Aegon complains no one cares what he thinks, she dismissively asks, "What thoughts would you have?" Wearing the crown does not give him wisdom. She had hoped he would have learned from those with the experience and cunning to rule like the grandfather he recently sacked. When he whines about what she would have him do, she responds, "Do what is needed of you." Nothing,